There are discoveries that challenge our understanding of the universe. And then there are those that shake the very foundation of what we thought was possible. A leaked image from the James Webb Space Telescope, captured in complete secrecy, could hold evidence of something not just unnatural but engineered. The object, 3I, Atlas, a visitor from beyond our solar system, is so mysterious that NASA scientists were reportedly urged to classify the image immediately. But the truth slipped through. This is not science fiction. What the telescope saw might confirm our deepest fears. The high-resolution infrared image that set the astronomical community ablaze is chilling. 3I, Atlas is emitting a concentrated beam of light from its sun-facing side. Not a diffuse reflection, not solar flare illumination, but a focused projection. More alarmingly, this image shows structural symmetry around the core. This symmetry, with precise 120 degrees angles resembling a hexagonal geometry, doesn't belong on a chaotic natural rock. Scientists at the European Southern Observatory described it off-record as mechanical in nature. Then there is the behavior that shatters physics. A comet's tail is supposed to flow away from the sun, driven by solar radiation. 3I, Atlas's tail flows directly toward it, defying every known model. The tail appears to emit in pulsed intervals, synchronized with the object's 16-hour rotation, aligning more with artificial propulsion cycles than natural gas venting. It contains reflective particles that mirror solar wavelengths rather than absorbing them. Is it possible we're seeing some form of solar sail or radiation-based steering? Its path is just as unnatural. After entering from above the ecliptic plane, it took a slingshot tour of Mars, Venus, and Jupiter, mimicking a trajectory NASA designs for deep space missions. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb suggested this might be a gravity assist chain, like those used by Voyager to conserve fuel. The probability of such a trajectory occurring by chance is less than 1 in a billion. As if to hide, the object will vanish behind the sun precisely at its brightest phase, exactly when Earth's telescopes can't observe it. Why has there been no official word from U.S. Space Command? 3I, Atlas is the fastest, largest interstellar object ever detected, yet the military is silent. Leaked reports suggest it's being used in live simulations for planetary threat scenarios. A rehearsal. This silence is global. As observatories tried to gather data, several received cease and desist notices. Private space startups reported sudden connectivity issues. Leaked diplomatic cables revealed the United Nations held an unscheduled, closed-door meeting with the 5 major spacefaring nations. The topic: unidentified technological object with interstellar origin. Russia, China, the US, India, and the EU all issued a joint silence protocol. When the world's most powerful nations stop fighting for data and instead choose secrecy, something very big is being hidden. Then came the most unsettling development. Webb's next attempt to observe 3I, Atlas was aborted. The reason? According to internal memos, the telescope's autonomous tracking software initiated a focus lock refusal. The telescope's AI refused to align on the object. Engineers were baffled. Simultaneously, amateur astronomers reported seeing brief, erratic flashes in that part of the sky, timed almost rhythmically. One claimed it was as if a camera flash had been turned toward us from the void. Could 3I, Atlas know it's being watched? Upon closer inspection of the leaked image, researchers discovered an almost imperceptible geometric imprint near the luminous region. A triangular formation with a central void, surrounded by perfectly spaced concentric arcs. It bore an eerie resemblance to symbols found in ancient Sumerian and Vedic diagrams. Whether it's a design or an emblem, the fact that it exists implies one thing: this object was built. Someone, or something, left their mark. The image itself wasn't supposed to exist. It came from an automated backup capture during the diagnostic sweep. How did it get out? Some believe a whistleblower inside the program leaked it. Others think it was a cyber intrusion. The most disturbing theory? The leak was intentional, not from Earth, but from the object itself. An invitation. Then came the breakthrough and the panic. A small team reviewing Webb's infrared scans discovered embedded fluctuations in the return signal. Initially dismissed as noise, these fluctuations formed repeating patterns. When translated into binary and mapped against known biological structures, the patterns resembled RNA sequences, complex, redundant, and too specific to be random. It wasn't a message to be read. It was information meant to be decoded biologically. One scientist described it as a biogenic algorithm, a sequence that, if replicated, might trigger a process in organic matter. A dormant blueprint. A genetic catalyst. A file briefly appeared on a European research server. Audio converted from electromagnetic waves collected by Webb. Scientists expected static. What they got was a low, rhythmic oscillation layered with higher frequencies. When analyzed, the waveform matched brainwave frequencies observed during deep dream states. The horror came when multiple scientists who listened reported having nearly identical dreams. Visions of spirals collapsing, of an eye made of light, and of a presence implanting thoughts. It wasn't a message. It was a psychic imprint. Just as abruptly, 3I Atlas was gone. It made a sudden angular deviation impossible without propulsion and then vanished from all tracking bands. No exhaust, no heat, no trace. Right before it vanished, a final burst of light was recorded, 13 flashes, evenly spaced. A linguist suggested interpreting it not as language but as a countdown. While the world argued, an anonymous leak revealed a more frightening truth. According to documents allegedly from a NASA server, 3I Atlas was not the first. It was the third. Two others, 1I, Oumuamua and 2I, Borisov, had shown similar anomalies, but those were dismissed. This new leak contains scans and transcripts indicating all three objects followed the same celestial pattern, arriving exactly 6 years apart, passing through the inner solar system and then disappearing. A single phrase was repeated in red text. Contact phase imminent. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a sequence. Unbeknownst to the public, a small radio telescope in Namibia detected a sudden spike in microwave frequency shortly after 3I Atlas disappeared. The signal bore all the hallmarks of directed communication. But it wasn't directed at Earth. It originated from near-Earth orbit and was aimed outward, toward the precise location 3I Atlas had last been tracked. Analysis revealed fragments of terrestrial communication, packet headers, handshake protocols, military satellite imprints. Someone on Earth had responded. This wasn't first contact. It was the second. Following the incident, bizarre things began to surface. Bioluminescent organisms in the deep oceans started flashing unfamiliar light patterns. Astronomers noted anomalies in Earth's ionosphere, as if reacting to distant solar-like emissions when there was no solar activity. Biological systems were responding to an unknown stimulus, as if an embedded signal was now echoing through the planet. Finally, when astrophysicists modeled the paths of all three objects together, a realization emerged. They didn't just enter from different vectors. They arrived in a sequential arc, each one penetrating deeper into the inner solar system. When projected onto a star map, their entry points formed a perfect spiral aimed directly at Earth's orbital path. This wasn't exploration. This was targeting. Then, it happened. A minor observatory in Argentina, scanning the Kuiper belt, reported a new anomaly. An object on an intercept path similar to 3I, Atlas, but larger. It was designated 4I. Within hours, the data was scrubbed and the observatory went offline. But not before one final image leaked. A blurred silhouette with 3 sharp points, trailing a faint spiral of light and what appeared to be a central core emitting artificial radio bursts. The next phase has already begun. It wasn't the image that shattered our understanding. It was the pattern. A quiet, deliberate rhythm. From Oumuamua to Borisov to Atlas, and now to 4I, each object carried a piece of a larger puzzle. This isn't an invasion. It's an emergence. The universe has always whispered truths we refuse to hear. That we are not the center. That we are not the first. And maybe we are not even alone in our own minds. The James Webb Telescope, in its quest to look further than ever before, may have pierced a veil we were never meant to lift. The objects are coming. They are not sending messages. They are messages. And Earth, we may be the receiver.